Hey guys, I wanted to go over the practice quiz, and then I'm gonna post this video. It may be more than one video depending on how long it takes. But I wanted to go over these problems just to kind of, make sure you understand. And I'll post this video or videos on the actual quiz that I'll post and let you be able to take it tomorrow. But it's not due until Thursday or Friday. Doesn't really matter which day, but that'll be the last quiz that you have to take. So anyway, let's get started. So the first one says a bag of contains 4 red marbles, and actually let me do this. Okay, so it says a bag contains 4 red marbles, and actually probably be better if I use the actual color red. 4 red marbles and 8 white marbles. I'll use black to signify white. 8 white marbles. It says a marble is picked, and this is important right here, where it says, and then replaced. And it says, what is the probability you pick a white and then a red? Okay, so what's the probability of getting a white and then a red? So the first thing you need to do is find out what's the probability of getting a white marble. Well, to find the probability of getting a white, you need to ask yourself, how many whites are there out of the total? Well, there's 8 whites out of a total, how many marbles? Well, there's 8 white marbles and 4 red marbles, which means there's a total of 12. Okay, so the probability of the first one being white is 8 out of 12. Okay, now if I'd asked what's the probability of the first one being red, it'd been 4 out of 12. Now what's important is you pick that marble and then you replace it, which means when you go to pick the next marble, you're still going to have 12 marbles. If I didn't replace the marble, I would now have 11 marbles left. So imagine if you take a marble out and don't put it back, you have less marbles in the bag that you had before. Okay, so to get a white marble, it's going to be 8 out of 12. On the next pick, to get a red marble, it's going to be a total, or it's going to be 4 out of 12. Again, because there's 4 red marbles out of a total of 12. Now, if I want the probability of getting a white and then a red, we just take those two probabilities and multiply them. So and I actually could reduce this before I multiply. So 8 out of 12 is the same thing as, 2 out of 3. And 4 out of 12 is the same thing as 1 out of 3. If I multiply that, I get 2 out of 9, which as a decimal is 0.22. So when I'm finding the probability, and notice it says then replaced, you're just taking the probability of the first event times the probability of the second event. So the probability of getting a white is 8 out of 12, probability of getting a red is 4 out of 12, multiply the two. Okay, all right, so let's see, this one says not replaced, so let's do this one. I may not do all of them, I just do as many as I need to make sure you understand them all. So it says it contains 5 yellow marbles and 3 green marbles. So already I know that I have a total of 8 marbles. So when I find the probability, 8 will be on the bottom. It says once a marble is drawn at random, it is not replaced. So this is very important. Not replaced. What is the probability that the first marble is green and the second yellow? Well, what's the probability of getting a green? Well, there's 3 green. And how many total marbles are there? Well, there's 5 plus 3, which is 8. Okay, so remember, we found the probability of the first event times the probability of the second event. Now, the way this is different than the last one is yellow will not be 5 out of 8, because notice we did not replace the first marble. So assuming that we got the first marble was green, what's the probability of getting a yellow? So when it is not replaced, to find the second event, you assume the first event already took place. So meaning I took out a green marble, which means I now have 2 green marbles left in the bag because I took one out. So if I ask what's the probability of getting a yellow, it would be 5 out of a total 7 rather than 8. So what ends up changing when you do this, whenever you don't replace, is that bottom number here. Okay, and the reason that changes is because I've already taken one out. So just keep that in mind. So when I'm finding the probability of getting a green and then a yellow, it would just be 3/8 times 5 over 7, which would be 15 over, what is 8 times 7? 56. Now, if I'm going to guess, that would probably be 15, 30, 45. I'm not going to try and do that in my head. Hold on. So 15 divided by 56 equals 0.267, or that would round up to 0.27. Awesome. So again, because it's not replaced, that's going to change this value here. And when we're finding the probability of a sequence of events, meaning one thing happens and then another, you're just taking the probability of each event and multiplying them together. Now, once you get to the second event, which we did here, when it's not replaced, you have to assume the first event already took place, meaning we already took out a green marble. So anyway, let's see. This one's not too bad when it says, let me see how much time we got. This is already 6 minutes long. It says if a Lakers free throw percentage is 0.75, what is the probability? Here, I'll do this one and then I'll stop the video, and I may make some more videos just to make sure. All right, so it says their free throw percentage is 75%. What is the probability that a player for the Lakers will make two free shots in a row? Well, there's two events. There's the first one being he makes the first shot and he makes the second shot. That's what we're trying to figure out. Well, what's the probability of him making the first shot? Well, they already told you the probability here is 75%, which would actually be, as a decimal, 0.75. So the probability of the first one going in is 0.75 because they have a free throw percentage of 75%. The percentage, or the probability of the second one happen, is 0.75. It's the same, and the reason it's the same is because what he did on the first shot does not affect how well the chance of him making the second shot. Now, I understand in real life, maybe the pressure's on and that does affect, but we're kind of ignoring that, kind of thing right here. We're saying that what he did in the first shot is not going to affect his second shot. Just like if I flip a coin and I get a heads, and then I flip it again, what I got on the first flip does not affect the probability of getting heads or tails. So this is actually two independent events. And we just multiply 0.75 times 0.75. And I'm going to multiply that. 0.75 times 0.75 is 0.5625, which would round to be that one. So you're just multiplying the two 75% together. So I'm going to pause this. It's already 8 minutes long. I will make another video, at least one more, to kind of help with this.